Evening everybody, hello. I hope you're all well. I'm just checking that this is working. Right, evening everybody, hello. I hope you're all well. I'm just checking that this is working. Right, evening everybody. Hello. Let's make a little start, shall we? Hi everybody, my name is Slimline. I'm just checking that this is demonstrator in the United Kingdom, and I have been a Stampin for about 3 months now. Let's make a little start, shall we? Hi everybody, my name is Slimline. I'm just checking that this is working. In the United Kingdom, which is Tuesday the 13th of January. I have been a Stampin for everybody. Hello. Shall we? Hi everybody, well, I'm just checking that this is working. Tuesday the 13th of January. Evening everybody. Hello. Shall we? Hi everybody, well, I'm just checking that this is working. Tuesday the 13th of January. Evening everybody. Hello. Well, I'm just checking that this is working. Evening everybody. Hello. Well, I'm just checking that this is working. Evening everybody. Well, I'm just checking that this is working. See what my audio is doing. It says the audio is okay. Let me just check. Let me see what my audio is doing. It says the audio is okay. Okay, I've turned the sound off. Silence now. Okay, it's coming through on my laptop. Okay, Carol said that's better. Lots of hissing. I've turned the heater off, so hopefully that will help. I'm going to crack on and see what happens. Hopefully it will sort itself out. If not, we'll see how we go. Okay, so I'm going to move over to my desk. Okay, so we are now on my desk view. Sounds good now. Okay, Brenda, let's crack on and let's hope for the best. Right, so this is the sketch that I'm going to start with tonight. It is from the Global Design Project, like I said a minute ago, if you can hear me. If not, the Global Design Project, it's a group of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and they have been around for a little while now, to the point we're on challenge number 530. And the idea of this challenge is each week the theme changes. And one week it will be a sketch like this, one week will be a colour combination, and one week will be a theme. So this week we have a sketch. And this can be interpreted any which way you like, and it's a good way to get you started on your projects. Sometimes if you're in a little bit of a slump or you always choose a certain design, a sketch is a really good starting point. So this one here, we have a landscape orientation, a card that is landscape in its orientation. We have a little background layer, we have 3 circles, and we have a strip. So this can be interpreted any which way you like, and I am going to craft along with the challenge this evening. So this, I've grabbed a few things off my desk, and I'm starting with this Cute as a Bug designer series paper. So I'm busy prepping my paper share for my team at the moment, and I have offered this out to my customer base. So paper share is where you get a selection of papers from the mini catalogue and the online exclusive promotion that's running in January. And this is the one that I've offered to my team. So my team opted for a 6x6 set of papers. So of all the papers in the new catalogue and the online exclusives, all the 12x12 papers, they will get 2 of each sheets cut down to 6x6. So I am offering this to my customers, and I'm going to give my customers a choice of whether they want a 6x6 paper or a 12x6. If you order a 12x6 paper, you'll only get 1 sheet. If you order a 6x6, you'll get 2 sheets. So you're not losing any paper, it's just how you want it cut. So that is available at the moment. I think booking for that closes next week. For more information on that, just go to my website, staceymarsh.co.uk. All the information is on there. And this is where my starting point. I keep seeing this paper used, and the little faces are just adorable. So I'll cut this down as a little selection. So you've got some really nice patterned backgrounds, and then you've got these super cute images, all different bugs that you'll find in your garden. Not so much at the moment because it's too closed, too cold. And then this here. Okay, so really nice patterns, some nice fruit and greenery, and then a really nice gingham. And if you know me well, you know I love a gingham. So I'm going to use that as my starting point tonight, and I'm going to start with a little card base. So let's get some thick white card. So I've got some thick white card here, and I'm going to actually do a slimline card. So I'm going to stick with this long style card. And I do like a slimline card. So for this, so our cardstock is 21 centimetres across here in the UK. So I'm going to cut myself a square of cardstock that's 21 centimetres by 21 centimetres. And then it doesn't matter if you turn it around or not, I'm going to score at 10.5 centimetres. And fold that in half. So we're going to do a nice slimline card. Okay. Now this is thick white card, so it doesn't need a huge amount of extra layers on it. And I am going to use this lovely gingham card. So I'm going to actually cut this into with a die, I think. Let's grab a nice little die shape, shall we? Let's use this circle. These are the Spotlight and Nature dies. These have been around for a little while. We were talking yesterday at card class how none of us want these dies to retire. I mean, I'm sure they will at one point, but for now, can we keep them, please? Hi, Mandy. Good to have you with us. So I'm going to cut a little circle out of that gingham. Too many plates in there. Lovely circle. It's got a little bit of detail around the edging, so that's a nice Just makes me think of a tablecloth. I love that. So let's put that die to one side. And then I'm going to take some of this patterned DSP, some of these little creatures, and I'm going to cut some of these out. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of fussy cutting tonight. I haven't done much fussy cutting in a little while, so let's give it a little whirl. So this set seems to be quite popular. I do love anything cutesy, so this really spoke to me. I haven't purchased the stamp set yet, just the papers, but I will definitely be running a class with this in the next few months, so keep an eye out for that. Now there are dies that coordinate with this set, so I'm sure they will cut out some of this paper, but I'm just not sure which ones they will cut out. If anyone's got this set, do jump in and add any comments. Just leaving a nice little white border around the edge of this as well. So I'm just going to cut myself a selection of bugs. Try not to cut their little feet off. There we go, we've got one little creature. Let's go for this one as well. It's in lots of fun folds with this paper. It's just really happy paper, I think. I'll definitely try and not cut this little leaf off. That's it. So Mel's put, the knitting one doesn't have a die. Even the little mushroom has a die. Okay, so the knitting bug doesn't have a die. But the little mushroom, let's get the catalogue out in a second and we'll have a little look at what's what. So we've got that one and that one. And then let's go for this little bug here. This little ladybird that's sitting down reading. Nearly there now. So I've got my three little critters. So let's bring my card back in. So this might be a quick little card tonight. Just need to decide on a sentiment. Right, so let's give that a nice little crease. I'm just going to do a little bit of speckling in the background of my of my card. So I'm just going to grab some scrap paper. Now, I had class yesterday and I can't seem to locate my grid paper. Here it is. Let's grab some grid paper just to protect my desk. So I'm going to do a little bit of speckling. Now, just be mindful, if you do this technique at home, the technique does actually damage the end of the nib of your brush. So I'm just going to take the brush and I'm just going to speckle a bit on the background of my card, just to give it a little bit of a background pattern. So then I can put my little circle on. I'm going to attach this with some little foam pads. It's really raining out there now. So let's put my little tablecloth on, and then I've got my little selection of creatures, and actually they sort of blend into the background there. So I'm going to grab something, I'm going to grab another one that's white, I think. Yeah, look, they get a little bit lost there, don't they? So let's take the circle and let's cut that out of vellum. So vellum is going to dilute this for us. I'm absolutely thrilled that we now have vellum back again. And if you've got something really bold and vibrant, using some vellum over the top will just dilute your colour ever so slightly. So let's take that out of here. I'm doing really well. Look, that's just cut the end of that off. Make fussy cutting look so easy. Brenda, it's driving me mad at the moment. So my nails are really long. I'm actually going to have them done tomorrow, and I'm just really struggling to do anything really. But thank you, that's really kind of you. So we've got our little bugs. So now let's stick this on. Now with vellum, I'm always asked, how do you stick vellum on? Now you can use cleared glue. You will get a little shadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work out roughly where I'm going to stick these little critters and stick them on with some pads. Here we go. So let's stick these down. Now does it look better like that? No, we want them to face one another. So I'm going to off-centre this slightly. And then this little one, he's going to go, oh look, it looks like a little love card. It could be a little Valentine's Day card, couldn't it? We've got that coming up for those of us that celebrate it. Could be all three's a crowd, look. Let's put that in the middle. Right, so now we've done that, I'm going to turn it over and we can see where the pattern, where the animals are. So now I'm going to put my glue just underneath where there is a pattern. So you can see I've just added that glue where it's not going to be seen, and then take this and then carefully lay it over. And hold it in place. There you go. So now we've got our little critter family having a lovely day. Now, sentiment wise, let's have a look at what sentiment we're going to put on this. So let's see what I've got. So on the back, going back to our sketch, it's a long strip. So we want ideally a long sentiment, but if we don't have that, it's okay. Let's see what I've got. Favourite layers is a nice one. So I have here because and you're a great friend. So because you're a great friend, that's nice. It could be that they're all friends having a nice time. That's right, I've been using this. Which is over here. Okay, so this is going slightly off of what we've got, or we could doctor that stamp. Says you're a great friend, it doesn't say because, so I think that's a nice one to use. Look, you're a great friend, that's nice. So let's use that. So I'm going to take some white card and I think I'm going to stamp in this dark green colour, in garden green, as a nice little contrast. Sweetly Scripted would go nicely. It would do. I don't have that one though, sadly. I'm just stamping that at the top of my white card and then I can trim that down with my trimmer. Let's move it slightly. You're a great friend. So let's just work out. Now, these little feet, I've cut a couple of the feet off. So I'm going to stick that on there like so. So let's take some foam pads, which are here. Just going to trim these in half. Hi Heather, nice to have you with us. Oh, it's upside down. I'm just going to pop that on there. I'm just going to double up those pads actually. This is so adorable. It's cute, isn't it? I love these little critters. They are very, very cute. You're a great friend. I am actually going to stick a little bow on that as well. So what have I got up here? I've got some green. This is quite nice. This is quite old. This is Pack Your Bags twine. This is possibly retired. If it is, I apologise. It's a nice contrasting colour. I think it's Call Me Clover. Is it Call Me Clover? Is that what it's called? Something Clover. No, Shy Shamrock. That's a really old one, Call Me Clover. So let's do this. Tie this up. And then that can Let's grab a little glue dot. Oops. Let's just take this off of here. Nice, you're a great friend. And then let's pop some little gems in there, shall we? Because a card is not complete without a few gems. So let's have a look what I've got in my box. These are sweet. I used these last week actually, didn't I? These are from the Christmas catalogue. And they're just nice glittery dots. So let's just put a couple of these on, shall we? I'm just going to put 2 on. So that's the outside of our card. I'm really pleased with that. That's quite a simple little design. So the sketch that we started with looks like this. So rather than having the rectangle in the background, I've done a circle. The 3 circles, rather than using 3 circles, I've used 3 bugs. The strip, we've gone with the strip. So I think that's a good interpretation of that. Now let's put a little sheet inside the card, just to strengthen it slightly. So I'm just taking some white card, and 10.5 was our width, wasn't it? So I'm going to go 9.5 centimetres, and it's 21 long. So we want to go 20 long. So I'm just cutting it down by 1 centimetre. So I've used a thick basic white for the card base, and then this is regular basic white for the inside. That inside of that card looks quite dull, doesn't it? So let's take some of that red gingham, and I'm going to add a little bit of that inside. So let's take this, let's do 2 centimetres by 10 centimetres. Going to stick that down this inside edge. And then that's a really nice card to send someone, just because I'm just going to cut this down a little bit. I feel like that's quite long. I don't know about you, but my bow tails have to be symmetrical. So there we go, that is the first card. Heather's put, love a slimline card, makes a change from the usual side. Carol says great card. Brenda said sweet sweet card, Stacey. And Heather's put, this is so adorable. Thank you very, very much. So should we have one more? Let's have one more. I'm going to go off piece now, and I'm going to forget about that card design. That sketch, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to stick with these papers because they're just so cute. So now I'm going to go to what I would call a standard card. So this is a C6 card. So to cut this, this is 10.5 centimetres wide by A4 length, folded in half. I can get rid of this grid paper now as well. Let's get rid of the grid paper. We don't need that at the moment. And I'm going to use some of this DSP. So I'm going to use some little strips. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of white. That's it. Oh, I'm going to make one tomorrow for my daughter's friend's birthday. If you are on social media, you can join in with this challenge. You just need to upload your post on Facebook or Instagram and tag the Global Design Project, and then that will be posted on their page, and it's just a nice way to join in. So I've cut myself a piece of white card that is just a little bit smaller than this. So the card front measures 10.5 by 14.9. So this piece is 10 by 14.4, so just a little bit smaller. And then this is one of my go-to card designs. I love this design. If I'm ever stuck in a rut and I don't know what to do, this is what I do. So I'm just measuring the width of this. Okay, so that's too thin. So I'm going to take this, and I want to cut myself 3 strips that are 3 centimetres by 13.9 centimetres. And this is a great way to use up your patterned paper. You don't need a huge amount, and it's just a really nice design. So that one's on there and that one's on there. So let's cut that off of here. So let's do 3 centimetres by 13.9. So you can use any patterns from your stash, but it's also a great way to show off how patterns in a set work together. So I've got that one, that one. I want that because it's got my bugs on it. So we could use that one, or we could use that one. That feels a little bit too pattern overload. That one's the same. So let's use this pink one here. So this pink one. So I'm trying to work out the best place to do this. Okay, so I'm going to cut this little strip down here. So let's go 3 centimetres by 13.9. I can't believe you ever get stuck in a rut. I do, honestly. After my surgery, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to cut a piece of card. So this was what I did. I just went to this design and just made a few simple cards. So I'm just going to stick my 3 little strips on this panel, and this gives a nice little border between each panel. Just leave a nice little border showing between. It's probably about a 2 or 3 millimetre border between each one. There we go. And then this is going to go on my card front like that. So the reason that I have done that little border, actually there is no reason that I've done that border. If you were using a coloured card base, so I'll just give you an example. If you're going to put this on a coloured card base and you wanted to see that white edging, this will give you a really nice, so you've got the white edging around the sides, and then you've got the white edging between the 2 strips. If you just stuck those down onto the card, you would just have a nice pink border, but I like the white border. So actually, should we put that on a coloured card base? Let's have a look what it looks like. Should we go for a red card base? I've got red here. Let's see what that looks like. So the red card base is actually quite nice. We could do a pink card base. So I'm taking the colours that are in the patterned paper and choosing the ones that I like. So I like the red. I think I prefer the light pink. I always prefer the lighter colours. I'm going to go with the light pink actually. And then before I stick this down, I want to actually tie some ribbon around that. So let's think about what ribbons I have. My ribbons are all in front of me, up above. So I could go with a nice red ribbon. That's actually quite nice, I like that. Should we do the red ribbon? Let's do the red ribbon, shall we? So my little technique for adding ribbon to your cards, you want to take your ribbon so it's about 2 centimetres wider than your card. Great for a Christmas card, it would. Nice design, great way to use, not a lot of paper. So turn it over once you've got it where you want it to be. Take yourself a bit of double-sided and then fold this, not fold, stick this ribbon down with your double-sided. Excuse the black ink on my double-sided. So now you've got that like that, you can stick this onto your card. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to cut myself a couple more bugs. Now on here, they're having a nice little time on here, but the backing paper is green. So, what do we think of that? I do quite like this little guy here. This little guy with his little dandelion. Let's cut that one out, shall we? I can see me going through quite a lot of this paper. This colour is really nice actually. It's not quite soft sea foam. It's kind of a mix of soft sea foam, probably basic beige. It's really nice. It's really soft. Like a nice soft colour. Okay, so let's trim around this. Love it. And then I'm also going to cut out these dandelions here. Sorry, I have to be quiet when I fussy cut. It is adorable, isn't it? I love this paper. Okay, I'm just going to trim it down into this dandelion a little bit more. There we go. So I now have those two and those two. So let's cut out a little die. Now I'm thinking of doing a little semicircle of this. Just a little one. So let's cut that out of some white card. And I'm going to use this little strip that we cut out of the thick card earlier. So this is just half a semicircle. got that and I've got that. So I'm going to trim this down ever so slightly. I'm just going to use the lines on my trimmer to cut this down. This one there. Well, that's quite nice. Right, I'm going to do it along the side. Here or here. This side. Very indecisive this evening. I'm going to stick this down with some wet glue. I wish I could fussy cut that quickly. It's taken me years to be confident with my fussy cutting. I've cut so much paper over the years. Okay, so let's stick these down. I'm going to stick these down just at the bottom so they're a little bit free flowing. And then he's going to go on a little pad. Carol finds fussy cutting relaxing. I do know what you mean. I do enjoy fussy cutting in front of the TV. Yeah, look. So there's our little critters. Now on here we've also got a butterfly, but I feel like that's going to be too much. What's on my other piece? Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit too much. So now I'm going to think about my sentiment. So my sentiment, again, I'm not using sentiments from this set. I appreciate you. I think you're amazing. It's your birthday. Let's do It's Your Birthday. Where's this stamp in here? It is in here. No, it's far too short. Let's grab me a piece of white again. So this one I'm also going to stamp. Shall I stamp in red? Red feels a bit aggressive. How about Old Olive? Old Olive feels nice. Must do more. There you are. Set yourself a challenge to do a little bit more fussy cutting. So this says It's Your Birthday. So I'm doing exactly the same. I'm just putting that on the edge of my card. Yeah, that's a nice colour actually. And this I'm just going to trim down. It's Your Birthday. Yeah. Cute. And then I'm going to take my ribbon now. I'm going to feed this through here. I'm going to tie myself a bow. So actually this bow can't be too big because of that sentiment. Okay, It's Your Birthday. I'm just going to try and turn that a little bit. That's better. Okay, so It's Your Birthday. So So someone gets the idea of that. Just going to turn that a little bit, or maybe that way. Yeah. So there is the card number 2. So we've got a little bit of trim on there. I just need to pop a little insert inside. So let's cut that down. And this time I'm going to do 9 centimetres by 13.4. Oh, thank you so much, Heather. That's really kind of you. She said it's a stunning card and she's glad that she's been able to catch me live. Thank you. That's really kind of you. So let's open this up, pop this in. And I think just to finish this off, I'm going to cut myself another little critter to just pop inside. Let's use this little butterfly. I like this little butterfly. So lots of nice comments coming in for this card. I'm glad you like it. I will put all the details on my blog, so you'll have all the measurements and all the products that I've used tomorrow. All the products that I've used are available to purchase through my website, which is staceymarsh.co.uk. Any order over the value of £45 throughout the month of January 2026 will earn you a complimentary kit to January's card class, and that's available to UK residents. And any orders over £70 you can purchase the product of the month, which this month is a stamp set. I actually have the stamp set arriving on Thursday to play with. That would have been lovely on these cards though. And if you have any comments or questions, please do reach out. So I'll just do a little recap. So the first card, I started that with this sketch. So that's my little take on that sketch there. And then the second card was a simple DSP layout, a great way to use up some strips of paper and using some of those cute images. The bow's actually quite big, but in a way I quite like it. And there we go, there are the 2 cards all completed. So that's my live done for this week. Thank you so much for joining me and for following along tonight. Lots of nice comments and questions. I do always appreciate your nice comments and questions that you add in. Jill's, but I wasn't going to buy this paper, but I think I've been converted. Honestly, Jill, just Google it. Go into Pinterest, Google like cute as a bug paper, and everyone you will save, because the papers are just adorable. I love them. So I'm glad you liked it. I'll be live again with you same time next week, so next Tuesday evening, the 20th of January at 8:30. Do join me if you can. If you're not already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, do hit subscribe and you'll get a little notification just before I go live that it is happening. And all that's left for me to say is have a great week, and I look forward to joining you again next week. Bye for now, everyone.